The game. Jake sat in his dimly lit room, the glow of his computer screen casting eerie shadows across the walls. He had waited weeks for this. A new online game called Predator's Hunt, an underground sensation whispered about in online forums. The premise was simple. Players could choose to be either a hunter or prey, and the hunter's goal was to stalk and eliminate the other players. The catch, it was so immersive people swore they felt like they were really there. Jake had always been a fan of dark, twisted games, so when the invite-only beta key appeared in his inbox, he didn't hesitate. He booted up the game, the logo flickering to life. On the screen, just a shadowy figure standing beneath a blood-red moon. No instructions, no menus, just a simple prompt: killer or victim. Without thinking, Jake clicked on killer. The screen darkened, and then like a static glitch, it flickered back. He found himself standing in a desolate, fog-covered town. It was late evening. The buildings around him were abandoned, and the streets were silent. A knife gleamed in his hand. He smirked. The game's HUD indicated 3 players were in the area. Prey. His prey. Jake's moved through the streets, heart pounding with excitement. The game's realism was astonishing. The cold wind on his skin, the crunch of gravel beneath his boots, the distant sound of dripping water. Every step felt alive. His first victim came into view, a woman sprinting through an alleyway, her breathing heavy and panicked. Jake grinned, stalking her from the shadows, his fingers twitching with anticipation. He followed her for several minutes, letting the tension build, enjoying the chase. Finally, when she tripped and fell to the ground, Jake struck. He lunged, stabbing her in the back. Feeling the knife sink into her flesh, she screamed a horrible, gut-wrenching sound that echoed through the empty streets. Jake hesitated for a moment. The scream, it sounded too real, too visceral, but he brushed it off. The game was designed to be hyper-immersive after all. Her body went limp. Jake wiped the blood from his knife, feeling a strange thrill rise in him. 2 more to go. He hunted the others down, each kill as brutal and vivid as the last. By the end, his heart was racing, his hands shaking. It was exhilarating, the most intense game he'd ever played. The final screen popped up. Game over. All prey eliminated. Jake leaned back in his chair, breathing hard, adrenaline coursing through his veins. But as the screen faded to black, something odd happened. The game didn't close. Instead, the camera zoomed out, slowly panning over the town, revealing something chilling. The bodies were still there, laying in the exact spots where Jake had killed them. And they didn't look like game characters anymore. They looked real. His stomach churned. The realism was almost grotesque. Every detail of the dead bodies, too accurate, blood pooled beneath them, faces twisted in pain. Jake tried to exit the game, but his computer froze. He frantically pressed buttons, his heart now hammering with fear. Then his phone buzzed. A message notification flashed on the screen. Hesitant, he picked it up. The text was from an unknown number. "Nice work tonight. Check the news." Jake's blood ran cold. With shaking fingers, he opened a news app. The headline jumped out at him. Breaking. 3 brutal murders in local town. Victims found in alleyways and in the abandoned streets. The photos, the crime scenes. It was all the same as in the game. The exact same. Jake's breath caught in his throat. This couldn't be real. It was just a game, right? But the knot in his stomach tightened. The dread clawed at his mind. Another buzz from his phone. Another message. "Welcome to the real hunt. You're next." Suddenly, the lights in his room flickered and went out. The computer screen went black, and in the reflection of the screen, Jake saw a faint outline of a figure standing in the doorway behind him, holding a knife. The last thing he heard was the sound of his own scream.